Hello everyone, it's Iveoma, your guide to Africa, and today I'm here to tell you what you can do with your phone if you're moving or traveling to an African country. All of this is coming up. Please make sure to like, share, comment below. Those are amazing ways for you to support this channel. Thank you. You're moving to an African country, what should you do with your phone? You need to check if the phone you are currently using is locked or unlocked. A locked phone means that you bought it from a phone company and you can only use it with that phone company. So for example, let's say you bought a phone from Sprint. Well, Sprint's probably gonna lock that phone so you can only use it with Sprint. So if you drop Sprint and you wanna move to Verizon, you wouldn't be able to use that phone as it is. An unlocked phone you can use anywhere. An unlocked phone means it's not tied to a phone company. Here's what to do if your phone is locked. Well, first thing I would tell you to do is just call the phone company and ask them to unlock your phone. Very simple. I think it's the easiest option. But the thing is about calling your phone company and having them unlock the phone, it means that you definitely paid off your phone, and it means that you've been with that company for at least a year. Let's say you've only been with that company for like 3 months or you didn't pay off your phone, they're definitely not gonna unlock your phone for you. So what you can do, there are so many shady tech guys who are definitely willing to unlock your phone, and it's not that expensive. Even if your phone is unlocked, just make sure it actually has a SIM card reader. So I actually purchased a phone from Sprint. I had a Samsung Galaxy Note 3 in December. They have the Note 10 out. That's how old my cell phone was. And so when I called to unlock it, they told me like, okay, you've had this phone forever, it's completely paid off. We can totally unlock it, but your phone doesn't have a SIM card reader in the back. So even if you unlocked it, there's no point. And so I took out the back and I was like, oh my gosh, there really isn't. That's how, I don't know what kind of phone I purchased or what. So there are some phones that do not have a SIM card reader and phones that do have a SIM card reader. And so you need to get a phone that has a SIM card reader, which is pretty easy, and a phone that's definitely going to work in an African country. What is a SIM card and why is it important? Well, a SIM card is like a tiny little chip that contains all of your information and your phone number. So how do you get a SIM card? I get SIM cards in the airport when I land. I think that's the best way. Comment below if you think getting a SIM card in the airport is more expensive than getting it in another area. As soon as you get off that flight, and you pick up your bags, go get a SIM card. You're gonna see like little booths with different providers. So honestly, what I do is I just choose the booth with the shortest line, because that's probably not good advice for you. But the reason I suggest that is like, I just landed, I'm tired, and I just wanna hurry up, get the SIM card, put a little bit of money on it. The reason I tell you to do it at the airport is because you need to have your passport. They're gonna take your fingerprints, they're gonna take a picture of your face, you're gonna fill out some documents. That is a lot. It's always gonna take time. You're gonna add money to it. And when you add money to your SIM card, you're going to buy airtime and data. Airtime is what you use to call people. Data is what you use for your app, check your email, and what you're gonna use for WhatsApp as well. The reason I encourage you to get it at the airport is when I leave the airport, I turn on my Google Maps immediately. So as soon as I get in that taxi, my Google Maps is on so I can follow along to make sure we're going in the right direction. But I would tell you just go ahead and get an airport so you could do the same thing as well. Okay, when you get your SIM card, you're going to get a starter pack called a starter pack. I have to keep them. Let me use myself as an example. There was a time that I thought I lost my phone. Mobile banking is huge in Africa, and my phone number is tied to my bank account. I didn't want any kind of issue. So as soon as I lost my phone, I went to MTN. I have my ID, I have my passport, and I have my fingers. They looked at me and said, no. You need the starter pack or you need an affidavit from the Nigerian courts. And I'm like, but when I signed up, you took my picture of my face, you took my copy of my passport, you took my fingerprints. Well, I have my fingers right here. They're working. There's nothing wrong with my fingers, they're right here. But even so, even though they collected all of that data, I could not get my number back because I didn't have my starter pack. I don't know, I genuinely want to understand why they took all that information if you can't just roll in with your passport and your fingers and be like, yeah, let me get this number back real quick. Now let's talk about phones. Here's the thing about Africa in general. Android rules the continent. The reason it rules the continent is because these Android companies pay attention and they set up centers here and they ship supplies here and they do a lot of things. They engage a lot with Africans because they want them to buy Androids. And I have an iPhone. I didn't know this before I arrived, but in Lagos, there are some places that you can go to fix an iPhone. And if you had an Android and you came back, the amount of places that you could go is infinite. And then also, if you go to another city or a smaller town, you can always get your phone fixed if something happens. But for me, I mean, I can only get my phone fixed in cities. Also, the iPhone only can take one SIM card. Most Androids that sell here can take 2 SIM cards. So I don't know, I think you should keep that in mind, because let me tell you this, your network can go down. I have 1 SIM card in my iPhone, and the thing about the iPhone is I had to trim my SIM card. So if you have an Android, you just pop out the SIM card and then just slip it into the Android. But iPhone, again, is just really inconsiderate. So I have to trim my SIM card, so I cannot use it on any other phone but an iPhone. So I trimmed my SIM card, and an iPhone only has 1 SIM card reader, which is really annoying. And network went down. So MTN went down, as in I didn't have access to data. So people could call me, but I couldn't call out. So it was as if I was completely disconnected. So my home internet went down, because I have Tizeti, and Tizeti is, guess how long my network and my MTN network was down? It was down for over 24 hours. If I had a phone with dual SIM, well, I wouldn't even care. I would just switch over to my other SIM card and call it a day. Are you serious? So that is what I'm telling you guys. Your network can go down. So it's always good to just have a second line. Very common. People here have multiple phone lines. In my cost of moving video, I talked about porting my number. Porting my number means that I removed my phone number from Sprint and put it with Google. So I attached my phone number to my Gmail account that I had at Google. That's literally what porting your number is. You remove your phone number from your phone company and you put it with Google. Every Gmail account can have a Google Voice. So I had to create a Google Voice account. So here's the thing, porting the number was the thing I did in the airport. It was the last task I had on my list to do before I left America. And the reason it was my very last task is that once you port your number, you cannot use that phone number to call out. When I was in the airport, I called my mom, my dad, my brother, my sister, and told them, I was like, hey, I'm leaving. I ported my number. I literally ported my number when we were boarding, right? Like, and it only took, I'm going to say, less than 5 minutes. All I did was Google how to port a number, and I literally followed the exact instructions. That is literally it. In order to port your number, you need to have access to a laptop, a desktop, maybe an iPad you can do it from, because Google, you need to have that and your cell phone. Because Google is going to send some codes directly to your phone to verify that you own that number, that you're not just trying to pull a prank on somebody and steal their number. So they want to make sure you own that number. So when I was in the airport, I had my laptop up and I logged into the free Wi-Fi that they have, and then I had my cell phone. So the reason I'm going to tell you guys to just go ahead and port that number is because now you keep that number for life, right? That is your number forever, and it's $20. So just keep your number, because your number is probably attached to bank accounts, to important things that you need to reset. And that phone number, since it's connected to your Gmail account, it's just going to send you a text directly to your email. Then you can look at the number and then put it into your bank account, reset. It's amazing. Cool thing about keeping the number forever is that, like, let's say one day you return back to the US. Well, all you have to do is just reactivate that phone number again, right? Just go to a phone company and say, hey, I have a phone number and I want to move it from my Gmail to you guys. And they're like, okay, cool. And you have that. You can reactivate that number. So that's what I think is pretty amazing. I think porting your number is an absolute must, but also you need to remember that once you port your number, you cannot use it to call if you're traveling to an African country. Just to call your cell phone provider and ask them about the international travel packages. Ask them about if they have coverage in the country that you're going to. That's also really important. The reason I'm going to tell you to go ahead and just ask about the international travel packages is that maybe they're offering a really reasonable rate for you. And especially if you're only going to an African country for a week and you have a business here, you have things to do in the US, but you're leaving to go to the Gambia for a week, well, maybe it's not worth it to just land and get a SIM card and do all this extra stuff. Maybe you just want to keep your cell phone, and there's nothing wrong with that. So just check if they have an international package. Okay, so let's say you decide to take advantage of that international package, please make sure it's on. Like just because you contacted your phone company, told them the day that you're going and that you're going to be out of the country, and it doesn't mean that it's on. So double check that it's on. Okay, if you're not on an international travel package, using your phone overseas is so expensive. You will go through data like it's nothing. You'd be blowing through gigabytes for no apparent reason. Ask them how much money it is to send text messages and to receive calls. One of my friends, she took her first international trip. She didn't know about calling the cell phone company and taking it and making sure they put her on a package, right? What she did was she just took her phone and was using it overseas. So when she came back, she left, and I think everything was like within, her trip was only 10 days. So when she came back, she was hit with a bill of $900. So she was able to negotiate it down to $500, but that's crazy. Even $500 is too much. Be really careful. Phone companies are gangsters, and you're like, this is too expensive. What I'm gonna tell you to do is, as soon as you land, get a SIM card, pop it in the back, and use it. Comment below if you think I left anything out, or if you have any additional advice for anyone watching about how to use their phone in an African country. Thank you guys so much. Bye now.